What's up? How you doing? Here we are. Beautiful day. Beautiful day today. Right now it's Sunday evening. The weekend is over, but it's really nice out. Not cold, not hot. Right in the middle, the Goldilocks zone. Having some tea. So I'm having, it says fine tea, Oak Valley. Right there. And I'm having it with fine honey, right here. Heavenly Honey, Company of Ojai, Wildflower. Really good. I highly recommend both of these. The tea is exceptional. Ah, delicious. So, quiet weekend. We went to see a movie. We saw two movies actually, Friday night and Saturday night. Saturday night we saw the King Kong Godzilla one, which I'm a fan of. King Kong Godzilla, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not really fascinated with a dragon or dinosaur that can breathe fire, radioactive. But King Kong, I'm a fan. Been a fan since Jessica Lange was being chased by King Kong back in 1977. Had her in his hand. Had a crush on her. I don't know what you're gonna do with her, but yeah. But I mentioned it before, but I used to have a dream once a year for about 4 or 5 years in a row where King Kong was coming after me. The dream would be me running around in my neighborhood, and no matter how far I went, eventually King Kong would catch up to me, and eventually I would end up in a train. King Kong would grab onto the train. I would leave that, then I would end up at my house. I'd run up the stairs, and then I'd see King Kong walking by my house, and I'd see the big eye going by my window, and he would notice me and try and get his hand in to grab me, and then I'd run out the back door. I'd climb fences and stuff like that, and I'd get away because I would wake up, and you wake up, he's not going to get you. It's crow time again. Delicious. Highly recommend the tea. So yeah, nothing much, quiet. There's a cat over here right now he hangs around her all day, mainly because I feed him or her. I don't know, can't tell from here. And right now I put some nice tasty food out there, and he's or she's right there looking at me and trying to figure out how to get to the food. There's a good gap. I mean, if I were to grab this cat, by the time I got up and went over there, the cat would be like 50 feet away. But cat doesn't know that. Delicious. So tonight we're having pasta. Last night I had lasagna and meat sauce at a restaurant near the movie theater. Really good. Really good. I like lasagna. I remember in high school, every once in a blue moon they would have lasagna, and it wasn't that good. I don't know where they got that from, but it was not that good. Oh, cat's coming slowly. He's building up his trust towards me. Very slow. He's right there. There he is. I'm not going to bother him, or her. Right? I want to get it right. I don't get the cat offended. But yeah, in school, they would give you lasagna once in a while. Once in a while they had that rectangular slice of pizza. Anybody from my time would know what I'm talking about. It was rectangular and about an inch thick. Came in a tray. They toss it to you. You'd sit down and eat it. It was all right. Sometimes we got spaghetti, But I never made my own lunch at home in those days. I got it at school. Some kids, they came, especially kids that were, I don't know, kids that were fussy. They didn't want to eat what the school had. Their mother would make them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Go home. Peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Other kids would have like a couple pieces of chicken. I just had whatever the school offered. And my high school, when I was really young, like 5th grader, I had a few friends that we would take off after school on our bikes and ride around. Of course, we got in trouble for that after a while because we were neglecting our schoolwork. And we would end up at my high school, which became my high school. It wasn't my high school back then. I was a 5th grader, and we would ride our bikes all the way on the railroad tracks on the side there, and then we'd end up on top by the hill looking down at this school. Not one time did I say to myself, I think I want to go here. Never even popped into my head. And then when I ended up going to that high school, I remember being out in the bleachers at the football field and looking up at the spot where me and my friends years before would show up as kids, and I'd say, I remember those days when I would show up here with my bike. Now I haven't been back there in many years. In my high school there were 2 kids, and one time in the cafeteria they said to each other, this is many years ago, they said, no matter what we're doing, no matter where we are, you see that mailbox? There was a mailbox across the street from the school. They said no matter where we are, no matter what we're doing, we're going to meet, and they gave a date, like say March 2017, right? We're going to meet there March 20th, 2017. And I don't know if it ever happened, but that would have been a cool thing. You make a plan like that, 30, 40, whatever years before, and then you keep the promise and you show up. Talk about the changes. I would have a hard time recognizing some people. Every once in a while I will bump into somebody on the internet, they'll have an account or something, and a picture of their face will pop up. And I'll look at it and I go, oh, well, now that I know it's them, it looks like them. But if I didn't know it was them, they wouldn't look like, it wouldn't be recognizable to me. So, people change. I've changed. I see myself from high school, and if somebody saw me now and they haven't seen me in, all those years, they would look at me a few times. It's hard, it was like, wow, that's him, that's me. Wow, the cat is close by. Well, when I say close, I would say like 15 feet away. I don't know, it's a stray cat. I don't know how they survive. Like, this cat's been out maybe, I don't know how old it is now, about 7, 8 months old, and it keeps coming back. I guess people like me feed it, or maybe I'm the only one, and it survives on eating rats. We don't have rats around here anymore because we have a bunch of cats roaming around. But I remember years ago, every once in a while you'd see a rat run around on the street. Not anymore. The cat family is considered to be the best hunters. One time I was out and a cat came up to me really quickly, and it was, kind of muscular cat and very friendly, purring, and I was petting it, and it was very, rubbing against me, on the calf area, and I go, wow, that's a really friendly cat. And then all of a sudden a bunny rabbit popped out of the bushes, and the cat saw it and it took off, and it boom, 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 and I tried to free it, and then the cat got it again. But you know what, who am I to free it, right? If I free that, the cat won't eat. So I'm saving that, and then the cat doesn't get a meal, and then, that's nature, right? That's the food chain. You know, that area was like, I mean, bunny rabbits reproduce rapidly, so there was a lot of rabbits in that area. Yeah, I was enjoying that. I bought it. I have premium dry cat food, so I'm not giving it, you know, Alpo. I should have made more coffee. I mean, tea. I had coffee this morning at Starbucks, but I should have made more. I didn't make more. Got a magazine here. Good reading, you know, especially at night when it's quiet. I'll sit down and read my magazine. A lot of interesting things in here. I like these kind of magazines. I've always been fascinated with being up on a mountain in the middle of nowhere, like deep in a mountain, deep. And I have my tent set up. Starts to snow, nice and hard, heavy snow falling. I have a little fire going there, a little canopy on top so the snow doesn't put out my fire. And maybe I have soup, or maybe I have a steak or something cooking, and it's just me. And it's starting to get a little bit dark out, and then I go in my tent, have a little light, I'm reading a magazine. You know, many years ago I went hiking with a couple of people, and we went up to Waterman, way up, and when we got up there it was pitch black, dark out. You couldn't see a hand if you didn't have a light on. One of the guys brought a guitar with him. He was singing a little bit, and I wandered off exploring, and I lost view. I couldn't see him anymore. You know, the mountain covered them somehow. I couldn't see him, and I got lost. I was roaming around, and couldn't find my way back because it was dark. I didn't have a flashlight. Big mistake. Now I have flashlights. I don't know if I have one on me right now, but oh, I actually do. Look at this light. It's a great light, very powerful. You know, look at that power. That's power. Wow. Yeah, at nighttime when you put this one on, it's super powerful. Yeah, I got this because sometimes I go places where it's dark. Anyway, so I was up there, I couldn't see anything, and I go, well, I'm going to walk around until I hear something. And then I look up in an area there that was hilly in the mountain, and I could see like a shadow going by, and I could hear like little bells, and we brought dogs with us, and the dogs found me. You know, I could hear like tiny cowbells, and they came and they brought me back. So, you know, if not, I'd still be there wandering around. But yeah, those dogs impressed me. They were able to locate me. But good dogs are good to have. I like the company of dogs. Problem with dogs is that maintenance. Sometimes you're able to do it, sometimes you're not. Sometimes you're not home, sometimes you don't feel like it, sometimes you're sick. And a dog has to go and get its exercise. You can't just say, let them sit there. But yeah, I would like to get a Cane Corso or a Presa, Canario. German Shepherds, I love those. Those are my first love. German Shepherds, meaning for dogs. When I was little, German Shepherds, that was the dog. Everybody wanted to get a German Shepherd. And then people started getting other dogs, Dobermans and Rottweilers, things like that. But I am a big fan of the Cane Corso and the Presa. I like them equally. starting to get a little bit dark. Tomorrow is a partial eclipse. Oh, the crows are coming. My favorite time of the year, fall time in New England. You know, it's got that nice smell in the air. I don't know what it is. It's tough to describe. You have to visit New England in the fall time to know what I mean. You know, it's not cold, it's not hot. It's a little bit chilly, but it's got that leafy smell in the air. And when I was a kid, I enjoyed that time of the year a lot. I still like it now. The other thing, when I was a kid, the big thing in my mind was I got to get a go-kart or a mini bike. Mini bike was a distant second, but it was still number 2 on my list. But I really wanted a go-kart. My dream. I imagine myself in the fall time driving around in my neighborhood, because back then I thought it was legal. You throw it up on the street and just cruise around on the street, but you cannot do that. Here come the crows again. One time my mother was busy cooking and doing stuff like that, and my father said, oh, let's go out a little bit. And I remember it was like a Sunday, and he took me and my sister out to, it was like a rural part of the state. And I remember we ended up in an area where it looked like, we ended up in Arizona style. And a lot of kids had dirt bikes, and some of them were there were these trails by the road that we were on, and I could see them. They were like, and I go, wow, that is awesome. Look at these kids. I go, they got dirt bikes. They look like they were a little bit older than me. And but it was my dream to get something like that, a mini bike, a go-kart, something. Never happened. Yeah, one time I said, you know what, I'm going to get a job delivering newspapers. And so I wrote a plain letter. I said, can I get a job delivering newspapers? And I mailed it in, and then they called me up and they said, hey, if you want a job here, you have to write a better letter, more details about yourself. Like I was going to get a job at Wall Street, right? So I remember one night I sat in my bed. I used to write these long letters to places. I had this yellow legal notepad, and I would sit in my bed with my knees bent, and I would write, to whom it may concern. And I wrote this long thing about myself, my name, age, background, what I like, what I don't like, everything. It was like a page long, folded it up, put it in an envelope, and I mailed it. And this place was down the street from me, so they got it immediately. And then like a day or two later, I'm upstairs, and the phone rings, and I pick it up. Oh, hello. And the guy's like, is this Nick? And I go, yeah. And he goes, we're from the newspaper delivery place that you sent a letter to. And he said, are you still interested? And I go, well, I sent it yesterday, so I'm interested, I want to get a go-kart with that money. So he goes, I'm going to come by in the van man, and we're going to talk. And so he came by, and my mother was in the back raking or something. And I went down and I spoke to this guy for about 30 minutes, and he told me all the information. I was all excited. I'm going to be making big bucks here. I'm going to get a go-kart. Very excited. And he gave me my list of people. And then he said, if you do a good job, that'll increase. You'll be making much more money in tips and all that. And I was like, wow, yes. So anyway, the following morning at 4:30, I was up. And the newspaper delivery guy dropped the papers on my porch in the front there. And then I went down. You have to put them together. The ads have to go in and all that, the funnies. And then they gave me a bag. And at first, when there was no snow, I would take my bike and I would deliver all this stuff in the morning. It would take me like 40 minutes. And then it started getting chillier. My father was not a fan of this job. He's like, you're getting up early, you gotta, cut your sleep out and all that, and then you got to go to school and all. But I wanted to do it, so I did it, and I didn't make any money at it. I don't know what was wrong with the math. I didn't check it well enough, I don't know, but everything that I made, including my tips, I'd pay, the company. And I did that for a while, thinking that the following week would be better, but I did that job for free. Made no money, nothing, zero. I'd get up early in the morning, and they must have miscalculated the amount of customers I had versus the amount of papers. I don't know what it was, but including my tips, I made nothing, zero, big goose egg. And somebody would say, well, why don't you call up? I don't know. I didn't want to cause any waves at first. I said, well, let me see what happens next week. And I kept saying that. And time went on, and then finally I ended up, stopping that job. But always wanted a go-kart. Now I'm too big for a go-kart. Now I need one of those all-terrain vehicles. But back then I remember fantasizing about it, shining it up, having it in my backyard, parked, and then I could imagine myself driving it to the mall and parking it, on the side there, going in, doing some shopping, throwing the bag in the back, and then driving home with that. But they don't go that fast either. They go like 20 miles an hour. Maybe now they're faster ones, but I know there's an electric one that what's that company, the one that Segway, they have some good ones, and they go a lot faster than 20. So that's it for now. Food's coming, and I don't know, I may be back later on. It's starting to get like dark out. Another week. Ciao.